Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, not a guest. My first Sunday home at my first semester in college, I decided to go to church. I started attending another church before I went to college. And I met a few people there. But as I came into the building, I was a bit hesitant who would meet or talk with. As I came into the foyer, I saw a beautiful young woman standing by the door with a chap. So I had no excuse but to go up to her and introduce myself. She actually talked back to me. She had an intriguing way of talking, and I invited her to go into a meeting with me. And after a little while, I found out that she was here on a one-year exchange program through the Rotary Club as a study abroad program. And this also gave her the chance to tour the United States. She's from Australia. Shortly after, I had to return to college. My studies and friends there. I didn't see her for some months. But when I came home for the summer, she was still going to church. We struck up a friendship, and I asked her out. She said she'd love to go. We had a great time that summer. By come the fall, I had the opportunity to my college to go to on my own study abroad program to Salzburg, Austria. Again, and I see her for some months, but when I returned, there was a New Year's Eve dance which we went to, and we had a great time there. However, I was a bit down because I knew she was going back to Australia. So I figured there's no way in the world I'd meet her again, because I had no intention, really right now, or ability to go to Australia. 7 months later, our church asked me to go on a mission for 2 years to Japan. As missionary in Japan, I really look forward to getting letters from people back home. And when I did, I would write return letters really fast to encourage them to write more communication in English. I had written several letters to Claire and received several return letters. When I was in Japan for about 18 months, Claire began returning my letters more frequently, more quickly. Actually, after a while, we began writing each other every week. I love to hear from her and look forward to them. And I eagerly look forward to the mail so I might be able to hear from her. In fact, one week I was able to hear from her because she sent me a tape. And it was wonderful to hear her voice. And on an Aussie accent. At the end of my time in Japan, my parents came to visit me and meet me and take me home. And they also came for sightseeing by a terrific tour guide. I was used to getting up at 5:30 in the morning to study Japanese. Now, didn't need to study Japanese so much, but I'm still waking up at 5:30. So I used the time to make a tape to send it clear. When my parents finally got going, and we headed out for a day, they were a bit curious as to who I had made a tape to. And I said, well, that's to Claire Heartfelt, that girl from Australia I know. I think I'm going to marry her. And they thought I was a bit touched because I had been dating for 2 years. So that was in May 1977. I had no idea how I'd ever see or meet her again. Shortly after I get home, Claire wrote me another letter. It turned out that she's going to bring him in University in Utah in January. Well, I had two that's going through, bring him in, seriously, and he talked. So I wrote her a letter. Phone calls were very expensive back then. In my letter, I asked her that if she's going to be coming to Illinois to visit friends she had met here before, she was welcome to stay with us. I was shocked that she accepted my invitation. As November came and the time for her arrival came, I was nervous. Sure, I understood her and, from the letter she wrote, but would she be as nice as I remembered? Aside from that, she was pretty as I remembered. And she was really great time. That time, I had arranged several things to get to know her better. So we did things like going to the Chicago Planetarium and night grade shows and studying. And she had never studied before. The first time I kissed her, she cried. She was so amazed at what a great kisser I was. Actually, I thought, boy, Mister, you blew this time. And what I really found out was she was thinking that she might have to leave family, friends, and country. Not an easy thing to do. After she had been with us for just 11 days, I realized that the impression I got through the letters was right. And I had strong feelings for her. So I asked her, Lana, I said, myself, is this love? And I asked her, what do you think of the name Claire Mensinger? She said, sounds pretty good to me. Then we got engaged. The next morning, we had breakfast with my parents, and they knew something was up because I had never before sat at a table, not eating anything. I was very glad that we got engaged before we went out to BYU, because a month after we got there, I was walking through the campus, and she saw a guy she had met in Australia when he was a missionary there. And he saw her, came up and started to chat her up. Boy, was I glad she could tell him she was engaged. The morning that we were to be married in the other spoke temple, it snowed. We were to be married at noon and get there at 10:30. Come 11:15, no bride in sight. I was worried. I thought she was going to stand me up. 5 minutes later, she came and said that the BYU graduation had caused a traffic jam. That's why she was late. I actually know now, 3 years later, that she just had a cavalier attitude towards time. As we kneeled down in the temple and were married, she again cried. She never looked more beautiful. And that was the beginning of a wonderful friendship and marriage, and it is love, and knowing we'll be together forever. This was no such.
Oh.